I grew up in Nashville, Tennessee. There was 10 of us, siblings, right? My mother taught all of us, you should always try to help other people because you'll get it back tenfold. I was the first to finish high school. I was the first to go to college. I got picked up as a young kid to go to a special class learning about technology and science, which was Fisk University. And then I ended up going to Tennessee State University and graduated at the top of my class in engineering. I had two professors. They had said to me, if you want to go and get into research and development, you really need to go to Bell Labs. But they didn't think that I could make it at Bell Labs. And it turns out I did the interview and I had like 4 or 5 offers, right, from Bell Labs, right? All of my expenses at Stanford were paid for. It was a very special program that Bell Labs set up for minority kids like myself. They said that if you perform well, then you have to come to Bell Laboratories and spend a certain amount of time. I was the guy that introduced microprocessors to the Bell system. It's called a portable data terminal, but it was a way to electronically count the number of calls that were flowing through the Bell system network such that we could manage and reroute traffic throughout the network.
Jesse Russell is the father of digital cellular technology.
My boss said we need a new perspective on this business. I didn't want the job, right? I wanted another job that I thought was more high profile in the wired area. I finally took the job.
Jesse made huge steps in making the cell phone practical, in developing the base station technology, the system technology, the things that made cell phones actually work.
In those days, the spectrum for cellular was very limited. It was very expensive. The one way to democratize cellular and not let it be such a very expensive service was to put more users on the same spectrum.
And so I concluded that, no, we're going to build a different type of cellular communications infrastructure. We're going to redo the whole thing, which is kind of radical, right?
When Jesse came up with the idea of moving from analog to digital, made a big change, and that really drove down the size of the technology and the efficiency of the technology.
So the first thing that I did was that, no, we're going to decouple the radio from the way we actually process the radio channel. We're going to create switching capability within the base station system, which had never been done before. We needed to crank up the bandwidth. We developed everything from scratch. We created a whole new generation of cellular technology, and we started to call that 2G. Some people called it digital cellular.
The idea of universal personal communications was his contribution to the industry. We repeatedly evangelized that point. It impacted global standards, which helped to establish personal communication standards impacting third generation and then fourth generation and so on.
The whole vision of 3G was to make video as mobile as voice, and that's what I was totally focused on. So we needed the new access methods, but we also needed small cell technology. I sat on the technology advisory board for the FCC, and that's where I introduced the 4G technology to the FCC. When I left is when we had started 4G, and then I left to form a company to build small cell technology, right? I'm never satisfied with where you are with the technology because I don't believe we've answered all of the questions.
Without his vision, without his perseverance, and without his organization, we would not have had billions of mobile phones.